What's up, everybody? Welcome to Move the Sticks. DJ Buck with you. Buck, what's going on, man?
Not too much, man. Another day, another dollar, more so another opportunity to look at the game that we know and love and try and figure out all of the things that go into building a championship puzzle.
Yeah, we're going to look at exciting slate of games we have coming up this week, including our game of the week. Want to encourage you to listen to tomorrow's episode, which, spoiler alert, we just recorded a little bit earlier, where we take a look at some of the teams picking at the top of the draft and who we'd rather be, who's got a lot of work to do, who's in a pretty good spot. So we'll have a fun episode for you tomorrow. That'll be our last episode of this week. On a Friday, we'll also have 3 episodes next week. Only 3 because we've got the holiday, obviously, with Thanksgiving coming up on Thursday. So be on the lookout for those. Buck, today, though, we're looking at some of these games and what those look like, including the matchup tonight. We don't need to spend much time on it. You might be listening to this. This game might already be over. But Steelers-Browns, I wanted to touch on the Steelers side of things because I was thinking about this. Exceptions, right? One of the things that when you watch the Steelers that jumps out to me is Darnell Washington. Darnell Washington is running around at 300 pounds right now, Buck. He's 300. I'm not kidding you. He is a 300-pound tight end. I see Scott Matlock every week with the Chargers, who's a 300-pound defensive tackle who's doubling as a fullback. They have what's his name, Ricard with the with the Ravens doing the same thing. It's interesting to me just kind of finding those guys that can be those exceptions and how valuable that can be when you have somebody who just has freakish size at a particular position. Calais Campbell continues to play into his late 30s at a very high level because there's just not many people like him walking around planet Earth, and he's still going.
Yeah, so I'm looking at Darnell Washington, and I think the lackluster effort when they try to throw it past him, he's like, what am I doing? And I'm like, look, he's an offensive tackle dressed in a tight end's number. But the size, the physicality, the toughness that he brings, how he enhances what they want to do in the running game, I can understand it. But you're right, DJ. You talked about the outliers.
How about Derrick Henry?
Those guys, like, they have success. It just runs counter to what you're typically taught in the scouting world. Hey, man, if you make an exception to the rule, yada, 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 yada.
But it's different, don't you think, when we're making the exception on the high end side versus they're bigger than the margin is. You know what I mean? Like, it's just different.
I guess, but then I would say, like, the Derrick Henry thing kind of threw you for a loop because you just talked about the surface area that defenders would have to hit, and he was such an upright runner that who would think that he would be a guy that rushes for 10,000 yards as a 2-time NFL rushing champ, does the things that he does, particularly coming off the heavy workload that he had, not only in college, but in high school. We always talk about the tread wearing thin on the tire. He's been able to defy that. So that it's more so the wear and tear, more so than the body that made him a harder one for me as the outlier. Darnell Washington and some of the other guys, you talk about Calais Campbell's, that we always talk about bigger, stronger, faster. They have those traits, and in the right system where they're unleashed and unlocked, they can dominate just on their sheer athleticism and talent.
You look at this game here. Look, Cleveland. We'll get into them a lot in tomorrow's episode, so be on the lookout for that. But Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know if you've looked ahead at their schedule, Buck, of what they have coming up, but this is a team sitting at 8-2 right now. This Thursday night game against Cleveland, and then they go Cincinnati, then Cleveland again, right? And then here's their December: at Philadelphia, at Baltimore, Kansas City, at home. How about that? And that is the 15th, a Sunday, followed by the 21st, a Saturday, short week, followed by a Wednesday on Christmas, the 25th. So in 11 days, they have 3 games against 3 heavyweights.
I think Mike Tomlin would say, we don't care. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out real quick about the Steelers and what they're able to endure. Right now, they are at the top of the charts in terms of a team that quickly raced out to an 8-2 start. They have a lot of positive momentum. But DJ, when you read off that schedule, the way that they finished, they could limp to the finish line and lose all the momentum that they've gained over the course of the regular season, all of that could be gone by the time they get to the postseason, and they may be running on fumes as opposed to running on real gas.
But I guarantee you, Mike Tomlin's going to pitch it as we're going to be battle tested and hardened. They're just going to make us hardened.
Ready to go. Doesn't matter. We've been playing in the playoffs since the middle of December. He will find the words to eloquently convince his team, this is exactly where we want to be right now.
I want to get through a couple more games here. Panthers are at home against the Chiefs. Chiefs coming off their first loss. Panthers have been playing better since Bryce Young got back in there. Look, the thing about the Chiefs is they're not going to blow anybody out. They're just not that team anymore. That's kind of like like a sneaky trap game to me. The Panthers are not good, but this is a Chiefs team that doesn't run away from anyone. So if you can just kind of hang around, hang in the game, get a mistake or two, I'd be a little bit, just be careful, Chiefs. Be careful on that one.
Yeah, but to me, coming off the loss to Buffalo, where I can't say that they played great, but they still had opportunities to win their game against the Bills. They should be full of confidence. They actually should be full of confidence knowing that they played all of their challenges. The teams that will really come test them, they played them so they can build game plans to deal with them. I think it's more so locking in and focusing on the task at hand. The thing about the Panthers, new energy, young quarterback energy, they're having some success, so it becomes a tougher game. Can this team, the Chiefs, can they embody or embrace a methodical approach to get them up out of there? So as DJ, you talk about it being a closer game. Can they dominate but win 24-14? Can they dominate and be okay winning like that, as opposed to, I think we're still jaded by the circus that it used to be when Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce were catching a million balls and they were lighting up scoreboards.
Patriots, Dolphins. This is Dolphins at home, 4-6. I don't think I'm kicking dirt on the Dolphins yet. They're a different team, man. Tua back there.
Yeah, they're coming back. And when I mean they're coming back to being who they are. When you look at them offensively, Tua coming back, being the point guard, getting the ball out to the playmakers, the weapons, being able to win their one-on-ones. Very difficult team to match up with. And even though I would like to see them embrace a more physical side, in these moments, because of their speed and talent, they can overwhelm you offensively.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what that looks like. Dolphins could get on a little bit of a run here. And Drake May's playing well, so I think that's a competitive, close game. I'll get through a few more before we get to our game of the week here. I can go back and forth on a couple of these. We're going to go Cardinals. We'll go Cardinals, Seahawks as our game of the week. But how about Eagles, Rams, Sunday nighter? That's got a little playoff preview action to it.
Yeah, it does have a lot of playoff action and implications to it. The Eagles might be viewed as the second best team in the NFC based on the talent that they have on the perimeter. 2 number 1 receivers on the outside, Saquon Barkley, MVP candidate, number 1 running back in the backfield, Jalen Hurts, beginning to kind of knock the rust off and kind of find his way. This offensive line can dominate. They're good defensively. They're really good. The maturity. And I would say the maturity that they get from their head coach. Can the head coach lock in, focus, and give them what they need to do it? If this is a mature team and they take care of the business in a professional fashion, man, they should pop, walk through it. They should knock the Rams off, and it shouldn't be a close contest. But if they're not locked in and focused, the Rams are good enough. They have enough talent to win it.
Yeah, the Rams up front defensively concern me. I know Philly's got a really good offensive line, but they play hard and physical up front with all those young defensive linemen with the Rams. And then on the other side of it, Stafford, man, he's just capable of going to an elite high level. And the Philadelphia Eagles young secondary has played awesome. They're starting to really get comfortable in Vic Fangio's system. They're rolling a lot of guys through up front. They're able to get pressure, maybe not as many sacks, but tons of pressure up front. But Stafford, when he's on and clicking, he can carve up anybody. So that to me has got a chance to be a fantastic game. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We will hit the game of the week, which we have is Cardinals Seahawks right after this.
It's time for Game of the Week, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. This week, it's the Cardinals at the Seahawks. The spread is -1, featuring the Seahawks, and the over-under is 47.5. DJ, to me, this is a very compelling matchup because the Cardinals have really embraced the complementary football style that Jonathan Gannon has preached to them. When you look at this team, they're very connected. The way they play offense impacts the defense and the special teams. Kyler Murray is a star, but they're able to kind of grind it out with James Conner. They're getting passes to Marvin Harrison Jr. And I would say the sneaky emergence of Trey McBride as a factor over the middle of the field. Really good team, and their defense plays just well enough to give them short fields and scoring opportunities to change the game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do against the Seattle defense, who's starting to find their way a little bit. We saw that in their win over San Francisco last week. At the second level, I really like what the Seahawks have done. You look at Tyrese Knight, the rookie out of UTEP. He's been playing great. He had a big week last week. They make the trade for Ernest Jones. It feels like he's getting 12 to 15 tackles every single week. That's an enigma to me, by the way. There's some guys who just change teams and get traded. He's been traded twice, traded from the Rams to Tennessee, then from Tennessee to the Seahawks. Every time I turn on the tape and watch him, he plays really well. He's instinctive. He's fast. He's a tackle machine. But, they moved on from Tyrell Dodson. They end up going with Tyrese Knight as well as Ernest Jones. And that second level of their defense is played well because they've got some horses up front. They've got a deep stable of pass rushers and defensive linemen they can throw at you. And we know how they've invested in the back end in their secondary that's very talented. It was the middle of the defense that had been letting them down, and they're starting to come on a little bit.
Yeah, they are starting to come on. When I look at this matchup, it's funny because both of these teams were kind of thrown to the wolves. Like they were kind of left for dead. You didn't expect them to be viable contenders. The Seahawks started out high, slumped a little bit, came back to the pack. The defense with Mike McDonald's trying to find their way. Arizona, the same can be said for their defense. Like they're try hard, play hard defense. You don't see many notable names making plays, but collectively they're able to tie it together. To me, this is a must-win game for the Hawks. The Hawks have to win to get back in the race, whereas the Cardinals still have some wiggle room. If they win this, though, it's a statement game because they win. I think they go on and win the division. And if they get into the postseason, their style of play muddies up the game enough where they could win or two in the tournament. Huge game for both teams. I kind of feel good about the Cardinals.
Well, the Cardinals and the Seahawks are going to play twice in the next 3 weeks. So that's always a unique, the way the schedule breaks out and you see guys back to back like that so close. I know. It's kind of weird.
Like we're making the schedule. We can't put more space in between them, like maybe 4 or 5 weeks. Like they play, somebody else play again. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't love it either. But look, this whole division's bunched together. I don't think anybody's running away from anybody. Obviously, Seattle finds a way to win this game. It literally is everybody's tied up and everything's bunched together in this division. But even if they were to lose, they get a chance to play them again in 2 weeks, get the split, and then see where you are. This division is going to come down to the very end. It's very competitive. The teams are very evenly matched. I think this is a close game, man. I really do. I think it's a very tight game. I think it's a one possession game that comes down to the end. And surprisingly, maybe people, this will surprise you. I'd rather have Geno in that spot than I would have Kyler. Geno's been good. You saw it last week. Game-winning drive against San Francisco. He's got some poise to him when he gets in those moments.
He does have some poise, and he can put people night like he was able to do in the Bay Area. I got to guarantee that a team with a bird nickname is going to win this game.
There you go. Way to go out on a limb there. That's not in the odds that you've given me here, but it's not in there. I'm going to say Seattle gets the win. I'm going to say the Seattle Seahawks get the win here. I'll be specific.
All right. So you got the Seahawks. I'm going to go with bird game. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code MTS. New customers can bet just $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code MTS. The crown is yours.
Buck, before we get out of here, I want to get your quick take. There's a lot of stories, a lot of rumors out there. Deion maybe goes to the Dallas Cowboys and somehow they're able to maneuver it so Shedeur can go with him. I don't know how people have come to this conclusion in terms of what you're going to do with Dak Prescott based off the contract he just signed. It looked like Jerry Jones threw a little water on that. When he was asked about it in a radio interview, he said, look, what makes Deion so special is his ability to recruit. Everybody wants to go play for him. That's kind of negated when you're at the professional level. Went on to say that he loved him, and one of the smartest guys he's ever been around, but felt like that's not happening. That's not happening in Dallas. But what about someplace else?
I don't think he wants to coach in the pros. Like if you heard him like over the years have interviews and talk to him, he doesn't think he can impact pro athletes like he can impact guys at the lower levels, whether it's college or high school. Like he can have a bigger impact, and his purpose is beyond what takes place in between the lines. He'll be a good coach because he understands the pro game. He understands how to hire coaches. Like obviously he has a pro staff now at Colorado. Pat Shermer, you think about Phil Lodeholt, and look, you got Warren Sapp and some other guys that have been in the pros that are helping him. But to me, he's at his best at the collegiate level. He has an opportunity to do, I would say, some serious damage in Colorado. And why leave when the fun is just about to start happening for them? Just got a big recruit. I think Julian Lewis, like top quarterback, has committed there. That doesn't seem like a coach that is about to go somewhere. But I do have a name that maybe, if we talk about the Cowboys and we talk about a former Cowboy, maybe coming and saving the program.
Jason Witten? You can go from high school?
Maybe Jason Witten has
really
opportunity to do. Why not? Like, why not? Like DJ, I think that's a hard job as it is. I think it has to be someone that is prideful in the star, in the brand, and those things. Like, I know he coached high school, but after looking at Dan Campbell have success, not saying that Dan Campbell went from high school to whatever, I think it's more of a quote unquote leader of men conversation than a tactician that has to fix the Cowboys.
Yeah, I just coached the high school team, man. You got a good thing going there. Coach your kids. Enjoy that. Why would you want to sign up for that?
Kids about to be gone. Kids about to be gone. He wants that.
Like he already kind of skipped the line to get the TV gig, and it didn't go well. Like he got crucified. Like, why would you want to subject yourself to that again?
It's Cowboys. Love the Cowboys, man. The star.
But the other thing about Jerry, like somebody asked me about the Deion thing with him the other day, and I'm like, everybody always talks about Jerry and like the splash. I'm like, that's when like Deion was one of the last big splash moves that Jerry made. Like he hasn't done the splash move. He just hasn't.
Yeah.
Going back to not drafting Randy Moss. Like he hasn't done that. He hadn't hired splashy coaches. He did it. You know what happened? Jimmy was kind of the star and kind of over kind of the spotlight kind of swallowed up everybody. I don't know that he necessarily liked that, but that hasn't been his MO. So I don't see Deion going there. I would think it'd be tempting if you were Deion, if something were to happen with, the Raiders or somebody else that had a legitimate shot of getting Shador, but he's been pretty adamant about saying, I'm not following my kids. I got my own thing. They don't need me. And obviously he doesn't need them. They can both be successful on their own. So that'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. But I'm with you. I don't buy necessarily the Cowboys in that situation. Anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
No, it's always fun. I like throwing names out there. So maybe Jason Witten won't get his opportunity to go from being a high school state champion to being a Super Bowl winner. But we can dream.
I know. Well, hey, you never rule anything out. And if it happens, I'll be the first to give you credit for that, calling that shot very early in November, making that call. All right, that's going to do it for us today. We got, again, another episode coming tomorrow. We'll have 3 for you next week. We'll see you next time right here on Moving Sticks.